Have you ever felt like someone was pulling your strings? A person who flatters you to get something. A friend who makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries. A co-worker who provokes anger just to watch you lose control. Manipulation is not new. It's as old as humanity itself. And in the Roman world, a place of politics, betrayal, and shifting power, manipulation was a way of life. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived in a world full of toxic people. They dealt with emperors like Nero and Commodus, corrupt senators, scheming rivals, and betrayals that could cost them their lives. And yet they discovered something remarkable. You cannot control manipulators. You can only master yourself. In this first part, we'll explore how the Stoics defined manipulation and toxic behavior. What Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca wrote about deceitful and draining people. The tactics manipulators use, from guilt to flattery to anger. The Stoic counter-principles of awareness and detachment. Exercises you can begin today to recognize when you are being manipulated. This is the first step in building Stoic armor against toxic people. The Stoics lived in dangerous times. Epictetus was born a slave. His master could command his every move, twist his leg until it broke, and humiliate him without consequence. He lived under emperors like Domitian, who expelled philosophers for fear of their influence. Seneca was an advisor to Nero, statued one of history's most notorious tyrants. He had to navigate a court filled with flattery, lies, and backstabbing. His life depended on knowing when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to withdraw. Marcus Aurelius, though an emperor, was surrounded by intrigue. Generals plotted, senators whispered, even his own son Commodus became a threat. He saw firsthand how power breeds toxicity. In Rome, survival meant dealing with manipulators daily. And the Stoics didn't just survive, they thrived because they developed inner tools no manipulator could touch. In his meditations, Marcus reminded himself daily, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. He saw that manipulators want to drag you into their game. They want you to mirror their anger, their deceit, their drama. To resist them is not to fight fire with fire, but to remain untouched. Epictetus. Epictetus told his students, when someone provokes you, remember, it is not the person who disturbs you, but your judgment about them. A manipulator can try every trick, but unless you give your assent, unless you believe their story, they cannot touch your inner freedom. Seneca. Seneca warned that anger and resentment make you a slave. He who is angry at another is a slave to him. The toxic person wins when you lose your composure. By mastering your emotions, you deny them power. The Stoics did not use modern psychology terms, but they described exactly the tactics manipulators still use today. Flattery, winning your trust with excessive praise. Seneca noted how emperors were surrounded by flatterers who poisoned them with lies. Today, "You're the only one I can count on," often hides an agenda. Guilt-tripping, making you feel selfish for setting boundaries. Epictetus would say, if someone requires you to do wrong, remember your role. You are not here to please, but to act justly. Provocation, stirring your anger so you lose control. Marcus, you should leave another's wrongdoing where it lies. Today, social media thrives on provocation. Outrage is manipulation at scale. Silence and withdrawal, punishing you with coldness. Seneca. Indifference is the revenge of the weak. Recognize it not as truth about you, but as a tactic to control you. Fear. Threatening loss, rejection, or punishment. Epictetus. It is not death or pain that is fearful, but the fear of death or pain. For every tactic, the Stoics offered a counter. Against flattery, practice indifference to praise. Care only about whether you acted with virtue. Against guilt, remember what is in your control. You owe no one your soul. Against provocation, pause, refuse to assent. Their words are only sounds until you add judgment. Against silence games, recognize manipulation. Do not chase what withholds itself unfairly. Against fear, contemplate mortality. What can they truly take from you except externals? Epictetus summed it up. As iron is tested by fire and gold by the touchstone, so a man is tested by praise or blame. Toxic people are tests, and every test is an opportunity to prove sovereignty. The control test. Each time you feel pressured, ask, is this in my control or theirs? If it's theirs, release it. The pause. Before reacting, breathe, count slowly. Remember, reaction is surrender. The role. Reminder. Each morning, decide your role. Parent, leader, friend, citizen. Ask, what would virtue look like in this role today? Write it down. When someone manipulates you, write the tactic. Naming it takes away its power. Practice indifference. Train by ignoring small slights daily, so you can ignore big ones when it matters. The Stoics knew what we are only rediscovering. Manipulators have no power unless we hand it to them. They cannot control your thoughts. They cannot control your judgments. They cannot control your choices. This is the beginning of Stoic defense. In part 2, we'll go deeper into building Stoic armor, using the 3 disciplines of desire, action, and assent to become untouchable in the face of manipulation. Because when you stop playing their game, you win. You cannot stop toxic people from existing. You cannot stop manipulators from trying to pull your strings, but you can stop giving them the strings to pull. The Stoics called this the art of inner sovereignty, the ability to walk through life with your mind your own, untouchable by anger, flattery, fear, or guilt. In this part, we will explore the Stoic defenses against manipulation, Epictetus' 3 disciplines, desire, action, and assent, applied to toxic people, Seneca on anger and why manipulators crave your reaction, Marcus Aurelius on indifference, and how to remain calm in storms of insult. Practical Stoic techniques, the pause before judgment, role rehearsal, and building an inner citadel. Modern parallels, toxic workplaces, narcissistic relationships, and social media outrage cycles. This is the armor of the Stoic, forged not in theory but in daily practice. Epictetus taught that philosophy was not about words but training, and his training had 3 disciplines, a set of practices designed to make the mind unshakable. The discipline of desire, mastering what you want. Manipulators exploit desire, the desire for approval, for love, for comfort. If you only desire what is in your control, is your virtue, your choices, they have no leverage. The discipline of action, mastering what you do. Manipulators try to dictate your actions, to make you bend, serve, or lash out. If you act only with justice, courage, and self-control, their tricks fall flat. The discipline of assent, mastering what you believe. Manipulators feed you stories. You're selfish if you don't help me. If you refuse assent, if you don't believe the lie, the manipulation dies. Epictetus compared life to a play. You cannot control your role, but you can control how you perform it. And the manipulator is just another actor trying to pull you off script. Your defense is to stay in character, the character of a Stoic. Manipulators thrive on anger. They poke, provoke, and insult. Not to win the argument, but to make you lose your composure. Once you rage, you are theirs. Seneca wrote in on anger. Anger is brief madness. It does not listen to reason. It cannot be persuaded. To give in to anger is to abandon reason, the very thing that makes us free. Stoic defense against anger: delay. Never respond in the heat of emotion. Reframe. Ask, will this matter tomorrow? A year from now? After I'm dead? Reverse. Pity those who must resort to manipulation, for they are weak. Modern example: online arguments. Trolls want you enraged, refuse, and they vanish. Toxic workplaces. A boss pushes your buttons. Delay. Stay calm and act with integrity. This unsettles them more than rage. Marcus Aurelius faced insult, betrayal, and criticism daily. Yet he reminded himself, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. This is the Stoic shield of indifference. An insult is only sound. A rumor is only air. A manipulator's scheme is only their choice, not yours. By refusing to give these things importance, you become untouchable. Exercise. The weight test. Each time you feel pulled, ask, how much does this weigh in the scale of life and death? Almost always, it is nothing. 1. The pause before judgment. Epictetus. Men are disturbed not by things, but by their judgments about them. Pause, ask, is this my judgment or their manipulation? The role rehearsal. Decide in advance how you will act in your roles as parent, partner, leader, friend. If a manipulator attacks, you already know your principles. The inner citadel. Marcus called it the fortress of the mind. No one can enter unless you open the gates. Keep your thoughts guarded, the indifference drill. Practice ignoring small provocations daily. This builds resilience for greater ones. Withdraw when necessary. Seneca. Associate with those who may make you better. Distance from manipulators is not cowardice, but wisdom. The tactics of Rome live on today. Toxic workplaces. A boss uses guilt or fear to control. Stoic defense. Focus only on your duty, not their approval. Narcissistic relationships. A partner alternates flattery and coldness. Stoic defense. Desire only what is in your control. Social media. Outrage. Platforms thrive on manipulation. Outrage keeps you engaged. Stoic defense. Pause, refuse assent, reclaim attention. The contexts change, but the Stoic tools remain timeless. The Stoics knew that toxic people win only when you hand them your mind, by mastering desire, action, and assent, by refusing anger, embracing indifference, and practicing daily techniques. By building an inner citadel, no manipulator can enter. You become free. In part 3, we will take the final step, not just defending against manipulators, but rising above them, walking away with sovereignty, setting boundaries with silence, and living untouchable in a world of toxic games. Because the ultimate Stoic victory is not to fight manipulators. It is to make them irrelevant. Focus the Stoic defenses: practical, historical, and modern. There is one thing manipulators fear more than confrontation. They fear your silence, they fear your indifference, they fear that you will simply walk away and leave them powerless. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this final part, we explore how to rise above manipulation completely. Why withdrawal and silence are the Stoics' sharpest weapons. How toxic people collapse when you refuse to play their game. Why your strength will unsettle and even enrage them. Seneca on self-respect, Marcus on calm sovereignty, and Epictetus on freedom. Practical exercises, conscious unavailability, daily reflection, and choosing your circle wisely. This is not just defense, this is sovereignty. Manipulators survive on reaction. They flatter to get your praise. They provoke to get your anger. They guilt to get your compliance. But silence? Silence starves them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If anyone can show me I am wrong, I will gladly change. But if they merely rail at me, I remain the same." Silence is not weakness. It is presence, amplified. Modern example: an online troll posts insults. You do not reply. They vanish. A toxic partner sulks to punish you. You do not chase. Their control collapses. Exercise the silence practice. Choose one day each week to practice restraint in speech. Say only what is necessary, kind, and true. Notice how much manipulation dies when you stop feeding it. The Stoics believed the ultimate freedom was the ability to leave, to detach from what no longer served virtue. Epictetus: "If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." When you walk away, manipulators may call you selfish, cold, or arrogant, but their reaction only reveals their dependence on you. Seneca warned, "Associate with those who may make you better. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Walking away is not cruelty, it is wisdom. It creates space for growth, peace, and authentic relationships. When you stop reacting, manipulators panic. They may escalate louder, harsher tactics. They may guilt you more aggressively. They may even smear or insult you, but this is proof that you've broken their control. Marcus Aurelius: "When others blame you or hate you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize there is no need to be racked with anxiety." Their reaction is not about you. It is about their dependence on your reactions. Modern example: a narcissist grows enraged when you stop explaining yourself. A manipulative boss calls you difficult when you refuse unfair demands. A toxic friend accuses you of changing when you set boundaries. This is not weakness, this is sovereignty unsettling those who relied on your compliance. Conscious unavailability. Don't always answer messages immediately. Don't always attend every demand. Train others to see your time as valuable. Daily reflection. Each night ask, did I give away my peace today, or did I guard it? Circle of influence. Surround yourself only with those who elevate you. Limit exposure to those who drain or manipulate. Self-containment. Practice enjoying solitude. Build hobbies, habits, and inner resources so no manipulator can threaten you with isolation. Boundaries without explanation. Seneca. A man is as unhappy as he has convinced himself he is. You owe no manipulator an explanation for protecting your peace. In part 1, we learned to recognize manipulation. In part 2, we built defenses. Now in part 3, we go beyond defense into sovereignty. Sovereignty means not just surviving manipulators, but rendering them irrelevant. Not just enduring toxic people, but outgrowing them. Not just setting boundaries, but living so fully they cannot reach you. Epictetus. You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself can overpower my will. This is the heart of Stoicism. Your sovereignty cannot be touched. Manipulators thrive on your reaction, and toxic people thrive on your availability. But sovereignty begins the day you choose silence, boundaries, and withdrawal over explanation, argument, and surrender. So here's your Stoic challenge. This week, choose silence where you would normally argue. Withdraw once where you would normally chase. Set one boundary without explanation. Write in the comments, I choose sovereignty. Because the Stoics teach us that freedom is not given. It is taken when you stop letting others rule your mind. And when you walk away from manipulation, you are not losing them. You are finding yourself.